Alright guys, welcome back. In this video we're gonna learn radians. We're gonna cover radians, and we're gonna just talk about what radians is and how to convert between degrees and radians. And we're gonna learn some essential angles in radians. We're gonna go from 0 to 160 and split them into sections. Don't worry, I'll show you what I mean. So radians, we have to go back to our unit circle, which we learned in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, please do, because it's very important. So let's draw a unit circle one more time. You draw a circle first. That's a really terrible circle. You draw a circle first, and then you draw a coordinate system. Now this is a unit circle. Now since it's a unit circle, remember unit means that it's 1. This is 1. This is 1. This is -1. This is -1. So this is a unit circle with a radius of 1. So what is the circumference of the circle, you may ask? Well, the circumference of the circle, you might figure that it's 2 pi r, right? That's the formula at least. However, the r, pay attention to the r. This is a unit circle. R is equal to 1. So 2 pi times 1 is equal to 2 pi. So the circumference of the circle is 2 pi. Now this, pay attention, this is 360 degrees radians. So radians is basically the circumference of a unit circle. So this 2 pi is equivalent to 360 degrees. Why? Because since this is a unit circle, the circumference of this whole circle is 2 pi. Well, if I asked you, what is 180 degrees in radians? Well, you can use your head. If the whole circumference of this whole circle is 2 pi, then half of the circle, just half of the circle, would be pi. And pi is 180 degrees radians. So radians is basically a very useful tool when you get into calculus-based kinematics and other things. It's very useful. It's much more useful than degrees. Alright, well then if this half circle is pi, what is 90 degrees? What is this? What is this, you may ask? Well, we divide it by 2. If this is pi, if this half is pi, then this is pi over 2. Just divide it by 2. Pi over 2 is 90 degrees. Alright, fair enough, 90 degrees. What is 45 degrees? You may ask. It's this section right here. Well, 45 degrees is pi over 4, which is 45 degrees. It's not really that hard, but here's what's interesting. If you know that the degrees, and it's a unit circle, then pi over 4, that's not the circumference, but it's the length of the arc. This length is pi over 4. This length is pi over 2. This length is pi. This length is pi over 2. That's what radians are really useful. Now ask yourself this question. If this whole thing is 360 degrees, what is 30 degrees? 30 degrees. Well, 360 divided by 6. 360 divided by 6. Well, that will give you 60 degrees. Well, however, if you divide 160 is 2 pi. You divide it by 6. This is 360 degrees, right? This is 6. You divide by 6. 360. We already said this is 260 right here. We divide by 6. What do we get? Well, we are going to get 6. 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. And you can actually simplify, so you can take away the 2, and it's going to be 3. So it's pi over 3 is 60 degrees. Pi over 3, 60 degrees. Well, let's divide this whole thing by 12. Alright? So 360 divided by 12. 360 is equal to 2 pi. Remember? 360 is equal to 2 pi. We divide both sides by 12. Divide both sides by 12. What do we get here? We get 30 right here. We simplify. We get 6 here. So 30 degrees is equal to pi over 6. And these are the essential degrees you have to know. And these are essential to your mastery of trigonometry. Now, I will erase this thing, and I will write them again for you, so you could have a better look. And actually, what we're going to do is that we're going to memorize them, and I'm going to teach you a couple of tricks to put up your sleeves, so you could master this topic even better. Now, let's draw the fundamentals. First, we have the pi over 6. Now, let's start with 0. We're starting with 0, right? And then it's pi over 6, and then it's pi over 4, and then it's pi over 3, and then it's pi over 2, and then it's pi, and then it's 2 pi. Now these are the angles you must remember. Must, and must. Now 0 degrees radians, or 0 radians, that is the same thing as the unit circle, the arc length being 0. So it's 0 degrees. Pi divided by 6. Just think about, there's a 6 here. Well, it's a 6, so we're probably thinking 60 degrees. No, it's not 60, it's 30. It's kind of odd because you see a 6 there here. I mean, so you automatically assume that it's 30 degrees, but it's you automatically assume that it's 60, but it's 30 actually, so it's kind of confusing. Now pi over 4, it's pi over 4, it's kind of fair, it's 45, there's a 4 there, right? So you can kind of envision the 4 being like pi over 4, 45 degrees. Those are kind of the sweet angles we're talking about. And then pi over 3, 3, 30? No, it's not 30. This is actually 3. It's not 30, it's 60. So as you see here, when there's a 6, pi over 6, it's 30. When there's a pi over 3, it's 60. Just kind of envision that and try to drill that in your head. Pi over 2, that's 90. It's really obvious. You can actually do that if 2 pi is 360 degrees and pi is 180. Then pi over 2 is 90. Just remember, pi over 2 is equal to 90. Pi is equal to 180. And 2 pi is equal to 360. So basically, 190 divided by 2 gives you 180 divided by 2 gives you 90. 90 divided by 2 gives you 40. And you can see this pattern right here. These are the angles you must remember. You can memorize them as many times as you like, but remember, these are very important angles. A lot of times you're going to see these angles everywhere, and sometimes you're not going to have a calculator available for you. And we're going to learn in just a minute what the sine and cosine of these angles are.